So we all saw PSG twerk on Inter Milan this past weekend. It was honestly a pathetic game. The game was over by halftime. And as you can tell from my jersey, I'm a Marseille fan. It was a very traumatic experience. I had to talk to my therapist the past 2 days just because I can't sleep. I didn't think I would ever witness PSG, one of the most pathetic clubs in the history of soccer, win a Champions League final. And we're not just thinking about a lucky run because they actually beat really good teams to get there. I never thought I would experience this. But with everything that happens in life, there's always a lesson to be learned if you pay attention. The lesson that PSG taught me this past weekend is that a lot of time in life, you can accomplish more with less. You don't need a bunch of Ferraris on the field playing. Sometimes all you need is one Ferrari, one Toyota, and a bunch of Mini Coopers on the field that know what they're doing. And that's a learn that it taught us. Because there's no way you can look at this PSG roster at the beginning of the season and you would have told yourself, oh, well, this team looks like a championship team. This looks like the team that's going to beat Bayern and win the Champions League. There's just no way. I mean, just look at this roster. They were guessing up this guy named Zaire, one of the upcoming midfielders. The man was getting the same amount of playing time as the ball boys. They had a 20-year-old Neves, Vitinha, Fabian Ruiz. I mean, these are guys that are Vitinha's good, but he's not amazing. Neves is a young kid. Du is a young kid. William Pacho, he's 23. He's not really known like that. And you got Dembele leading the line? The same guy who turns into Stevie Wonders when he gets in front of the goal? I mean, there's no... You take away Hakimi and Marquinhos on this PSG roster. There's nobody on this roster that you can look at and say, oh, well, he's top 3 in his respective position. I mean, you can maybe make a case for Donnarumma, but even then, it's questionable because he's too error-prone. All these guys are, I mean, it's not a bad roster, but if you're looking at it just on paper, it just looks okay. They've had plenty of talented rosters before, way more talented than this. But PSG was this weird team that found the weirdest ways to lose games. Any matter who they had on the field, Jesus, Prophet Muhammad, Mother Teresa, they would find a way to lose. We all remember when they beat Barcelona 4-0 at home. Then they go to Barcelona and lose 6-1. How? How do you score 4 goals and you go away and concede 6 goals? How is that even possible? We all remember when PSG played against Madrid. They're winning 2-0. And Benzema scored 3 goals in 17 minutes. Sometimes it looked like they would try to lose games on purpose. And this is the roster that wins? It was strange, but it's not really strange. Because the difference between this year's roster and the previous rosters, it's not only is the talent, but it's the toxicity level was low. See, this year's roster was not toxic. You did not come into training a locker room that was toxic. Mbappe was the main reason why it was a lot of toxic. But we've had toxic superstars before. It's not like Mbappe is the first one. I mean, we had plenty of superstars that were toxic before, but they won. So it's not like having a toxic superstar is the reason, because we saw Ronaldo. Ronaldo's one of the most toxic player that you could possibly think of. He had plenty of success in Madrid. But you know what the difference between PSG and Madrid is that Madrid understood who they had and PSG didn't. See, Madrid understood that their guy, Cristiano Ronaldo, was toxic. He's selfish. He only thinks about himself. And the best way to deal with a guy like that is to give him an environment where his authority is not challenged. He doesn't have other toxic players. So you know what they did? They went and surrounded him with a lot of talent that were not toxic. They were selfless. Guys like Modric, guys like Benzema. See, Benzema was always a scapegoat whenever they lost. Always a scapegoat. But it was okay because he was a selfless player. Di Maria. And so if you were a Madrid player, you understood that the system was made for Ronaldo. You went to sleep thinking about Ronaldo. You woke up thinking about Ronaldo. You went to work thinking about Ronaldo. What can I do to make Ronaldo's life better? What can I do to make Ronaldo more happy? I have to pass the ball to Ronaldo. I have to defend for Ronaldo. So you understood what you were in. You understood your system. PSG went and got Mbappe. If you get a guy like Mbappe, a guy as talented as Mbappe, you understand that he's gonna be the head of your project. You understand that he's gonna be the guy. Why would you get Mbappe, then turn around and get a guy like Neymar? Neymar left Barcelona, a great situation, because not only because they offered him a lot of money, because he felt like when he was in Barcelona, he was not getting the credit because the credit will always go to Messi. And so he felt like he was really good. And he is good. He was very talented. And he felt like a guy his caliber should have a team where he gets the credit. So he felt like going to PSG will give him the status that he's looking for of being the guy. And so you went and paired Mbappe with a guy like Neymar, he was looking for status, and you expect that partnership to succeed. And to make things worse, you went and get Messi, the guy who's considered the greatest, best player in the world. And you expect Mbappe to be okay and flourish in that type of environment? Because you can't tell me that Mbappe has such a bad personality that you can't win with him, because we saw him win with France. We saw him get to the final and almost win it again with France. So it's not like it's not doable. But you made the wrong, PSG made the wrong decisions. You went into all these guys who are challenging Mbappe's authority. So of course you're going to get a toxic locker room. And it was toxic. And so you had the European bloc and you had the South American bloc. And we all remember a few years ago, there was a conflict between Donnarumma and Navas. The coach who started, for whatever reason, Donnarumma was supposed to be the main guy. For whatever reason, Donnarumma was making a lot of mistakes. And so the coach started playing Navas more because Navas had a lot of experience and he was doing good. And so now there was two blocks created in the locker room. There was the Brazilian or the South American block and the European block. Well, you can't win like that. And so you had the South American block who was backing Navas, and you had the European block who were backing Donnarumma's. Well, that's the definition of a toxic team. And so you understand that the difference between those past PSG team and this year's PSG team is that this year's PSG team, there was no toxic player. They all play for one another. We all saw Dembele defending like crazy in the final. They play for one another. There was unity. I mean, if you're looking at this roster, they're just okay players. But you add in the fact that Dembele was playing as a superstar. You add in the fact that Doué is an emerging player, and then everybody else is playing for one another, and everybody else is defending as a team. Well, that's what you get. A team that's able to win a lot of big games that they couldn't do before with more talent. So the first mistake that PSG made is by putting Messi, Neymar, and Mbappe together. It just doesn't work. It's like putting water and oil together. They just don't go together. Because now the young star who thought that the project was being built around him, now he feels suffocated. Now he feels like his status on the team is questioned. He's not the best player anymore. The second mistake that PSG made was by getting all these established big players, big Brazilian, big Argentinian that have won before, that have had success before outside of PSG. See, that strategy only works when you got a team that's had a lot of history of winning. They got a big history behind them. Teams like Madrid, teams like Milan, teams like Liverpool. Because now when you got a team like that, if you're coming in as a player, it doesn't matter. You're not bigger than the club. Madrid has won before. Liverpool has won before. It's not like they're buying you to save the team. But when you got a team like PSG, a team that doesn't have a history of winning, a team that doesn't have a big culture, and you paying these guys big money, now it feels like, oh, you paying me because you need me to make you an elite team. You don't have the right reputation. I'm the savior. You need me more than I need you because you want to be an elite team. And we haven't seen you do that before. And now you want me to help you do that. And so you're going to have guys who are going to come in with the wrong mentality. They're going to feel like they're bigger than the club because they're going to feel like the club is desperate for status. And that's the reason why that's the reason why they got him. And so now you're gonna have guys like Neymar and Messi and some of these other guys creating these blocks and becoming enemies because they feel like they're bigger than the club. That's a wrong way of building a club. And that's the problem. And that's a good thing about trying. When you have a business idea, when you have an app idea, you have to put it to use. You have to put it in execution because there's a beauty in failing sometimes. Because sometimes you fail so long that you figure it out. Because when you fail, you learn some lessons. And those lessons that you learn are the lessons that you can apply to your next idea. There's a beauty in failing. There's no success without failing. And that's what happened with PSG, is that they failed for so long that eventually they started getting it right. Eventually they started learning from their mistakes. And what did they learn? Oh, what did they do to fix those mistakes? Well, they started recruiting or they started buying young players. Guys like Barcola, he came to PSG when he was 21 years old. Mendes came to PSG when he was 20. Due is 20 years old. Zaire is 19. Dembele has been criticized because he doesn't score enough goals. He's always missing. So that's a guy with a chip on his shoulder. He's looking for something to prove. So you got guys who are coming in with no ego. They don't have a career. They don't have a big name. So they come to PSG with the right mentality that they need to get their career up and started. They need to make a name for themselves. So they're not gonna create drama. They're gonna play really hard. They're gonna listen to the coach. They're not gonna bark back. They're not gonna yell back at Luis Enrique when Luis Enrique tells them something that they maybe don't like, or maybe they get taken out of the game early. And that's why you get the team that they got. And that's why there's a beauty in sometimes failing. And I applaud, as a Marseille fan, I applaud PSG because eventually, when you get it right, when you learn from your mistakes, once you understand what you did wrong and you fix it, you learn your lesson forever. And so I applaud PSG for what they did, for learning from their mistakes and fixing them. And all I can say to them is, welcome to the elite. So I want to quickly touch on the FIFA Club World Cup that's going to start on June 14th in the US. Now, the FIFA Club World Cup is not a new tournament. It's a tournament that used to happen every year where you would get all the winners of each continent play each other. And it made sense. It was logical. So if you're a team like Madrid and you win the Champions League, and we know the Champions League is the best tournament out there, you still got to prove to the world that you're the best club, that you are worthy of being called the world champion. And so in order for you to do that, you got to beat the champions of other continents. And so you'll get a tournament where you'll get about 5-6 teams that will play against each other, and you get a winner. So it made sense. I just don't understand this 32 team format that's being expanded. And now instead of it being annually, now it's every 4 years. I speak for every soccer fan out there in regards to the Club World Cup. We don't care about it. We don't want to see Madrid versus Pachuca. We don't want to see Chelsea versus Seattle Sounders. For one, we don't care about the Seattle Sounders or Pachuca. We barely know the people on those teams. For two, it's going to be a murder. It's going to be a blowout. They're going to get twerked on. I just don't understand why FIFA is forcing us to watch this crappy tournament. This is just an exhibition for European teams to show their dominance. This FIFA Club World Cup has started since 2008. Since 2008 till now, there's only been one Brazilian team, one non-European team that won it. And that was a long time ago. The past few years, it's only been European teams. So it's going to be a European team that's going to win it. So what's the point of expanding it to 32 teams? You got all these European players who are playing all these games, and they're already playing too many games that they should. And so now you're forcing them to play in a tournament that they don't care about, that they're probably not going to give their best effort. And you're forcing us to watch this nonsense. This is just the greediness of FIFA. You want too much money. It's okay for us to go 2 months without soccer. It's okay for us to miss it. Give us time to miss it. Let us get excited for next season. Let us get excited for free agency. Let us get excited for preseason. What we don't want to see is I don't know, Mbappe getting hurt because he had to play against FC Miami. I just don't understand it. The World Cup is next year. Let these players rest. I mean, I get that these soccer players make a lot of money. I do. But just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you're a slave. That doesn't mean you don't deserve rest. I mean, a lot of these soccer teams have to go through stretches where they will only get 2-3 days of rest, and they have to play the other day. I mean, it's just it's quite sad. At this point, I feel like players need to go on strike. This tournament is just not needed. It's going to be European teams playing against below average teams. And so you're risking these players getting hurt for what? So we can see America play against Chelsea? I just don't understand it. I don't agree with this tournament. For one, it's going to be in the U.S., a country that doesn't care about soccer. For two, it's going to be, a lot of games are going to be during the day, 11 a.m., 2 p.m. You think Americans are going to be watching games at 11 a.m. or 2 p.m.? You think the Americans are going to leave their job to go to a soccer game at that time? It's not going to happen. And for three, it's in the U.S. The country's just too big. I'm from Dallas. I love soccer. I would want to watch a game. But the closest game to me is in Miami. I can't just drive to Miami. It's like 9-10 hours. And so I need to fly to Miami. That means I got to get a hotel. I got to buy the ticket. It's going to cost too much. And so it's really hard for Americans to travel to go watch all these games. And so you're going to have a tournament where a lot of stadiums are going to be empty. Unless it's a European team, it's going to be an empty stadium. So I don't quite understand this tournament. It's just not needed.
This has been The Guru. Unapologetic and unfiltered opinions on the hottest sports stories. Breaking everything down from basketball and football to soccer and the UFC. And might we add, your host is always right. Just ask him. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, hook up with us on TikTok and Instagram. He's gonna stop talking for now. See you next time on The Guru.